What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the podcast, Counterclockwise. Hope you guys had a good Sunday, got some rest. If you went to church, hope that went well. If you were in bed all day, hope that went well. If you went to work like me, I hope that went well. Okay, so today's topic that I feel like is interesting enough is the question of, does culture really influence obesity? Um, you know, I'm an American, and you just hear about it all the time. The health reports all over saying we're just getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. But it gets me wondering: are our diets just terrible, or are certain people in different cultures more prone to becoming severely obese? So that's something I wanted to delve into today. So if you think about it, there are many stereotypes out there about what ethnicity eats what. So, black people got soul food, collard greens, cornbread, all that. Lots of grease, lots of fried chicken, right? Mexican people, or Hispanic rather. No, not even that, Mexican. You think of tacos and them using lard and cooking food in the lard and then reusing the lard for their rice. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Asian people, especially China and Japan, for some reason, people think that they only eat rice. That's it. A little bit of fish, but other than that, only rice. Indian food is just deemed spicy, and all they like is hot and spicy food. No in between, no such thing as a mild Indian dish, and so on. It just goes on and on and on and on. And those are all stereotypes. Like, there are healthy and unhealthy things within everyone's diet, no matter what your background is in. So that goes to show some of these stereotypes are true. Within the black culture, soul food is eaten. Within Mexican culture, tacos are eaten. Within Asian culture, rice is eaten. Within Indian culture, they do use a variety of spices. So that goes back to my original question: does culture really influence obesity? So let's just take a look into, this country, United States of America. So within the United States of America, obesity is a problem. That's clear. More and more people are medically diagnosed as obese, severely overweight every single year, and that number keeps on climbing. Now, obesity is an issue not, just due to fat shaming, but is that it's linked with other bad health conditions. So if someone is obese, there's a higher chance that they are diabetic, have issues with their blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, cholesterol problems, and just overall bad health. It is an unhealthy state of being if you are obese. And, I just want to say clearly that that is just scientific knowledge, not necessarily me attacking someone for being fat or obese. Obese is the next stage of unhealthiness rather than just having a little bit of meat on your bones. So just specifically talking about the health problems that come with becoming obese, and just the assumption that based on your ethnicity, you have a higher chance of having fat people in your family. You know what I mean? So, but if you think about it, this is definitely a cultural thing and not a financial thing, because among men and women in every socioeconomic tier, there are people who are obese. And that just goes to show that it's more of a diet thing because of what you know. And I guess you could say what you don't know, that's leading to people with tons of money that can afford all the organic foods, all the healthy foods that are available, yet they still choose to, revert back to what they know. And that's fair. It's just a matter of a lack of education. So, and we keep talking about culture as a sound bite, but let's talk about culture as its definition, or at least how I am perceiving it. So culture is what a certain group of people value. So, you know, it's a matter of, do you value family? Do you value togetherness? Do you value religion? You know, there's a variety of factors that can then uh, interrupt a good diet, a healthy diet, because of what you value. You know, the whole respecting my elders. If they cook me something and I respect them, that means I have to eat it. If there's more food on the plate, I better not throw that away, because, you know, we value not wasting food, so on and so forth. Culture is also about a group of people's past experiences, you know, their cultural history, their traditions. So, an example just off the top of my head would be how a lot of times people who are Italian tend to reference how big their dinners are, and how everyone in their family is invited, and, you know, the patriarch of the family, or matriarch of the family rather, just cooks food all day, even the day before, and everyone just has, you know, a full 7-course meal while drinking some wine, desserts, everything, because within that tradition, that's what is valued. You know, that is truly a part of their culture. Or you can talk about Black history, how, you know, not there are people that are knowledgeable, but then there are people who are not knowledgeable as to why Black people do eat neck bones, chitlins, pig ears, chicken feet, things like that. You know, that is deemed, you know, struggle food, when historically it's all about what slaves were given, and they had to make do, they had to doctor it up and make it taste good. And now that's just a staple within the culture, where we're starting to break out of that now, but it's just a matter of, that's what is known, that's the experience, that's the stories that were brought down generations and generations and generations. It was taught to the youth of how to prepare it, and so still to this day, you can go to some Black households and they'll still cook those items, when we're far from slavery nowadays. We can go to the store just like anybody else, yet because it's so interwoven into Black history, it still goes on. Just like cornbread, collard greens, sweet potato pie, things like that. So yeah, it's all interwoven, it's all betwixt our knowledge of our traditions and our heritage. And that goes for any heritage, for any ethnicity, no matter where you're from. You're gonna cook what you know. You're gonna eat what you know and what you're familiar with. So when you think about people culturally, and they have the same culture, you gotta think that they all tend to reside in areas with the same resources. So if you think about the resources that are available with other people that understand your culture, that means that you're all going to eat the same things, because, you know, the same stores are nearby, the same fishing areas are nearby, you know, and you're going to cook what you know, like I said. So because of that, the cycle continues. So you could become knowledgeable about nutrition, but because you're in a certain area where certain things are available and other options are not available, what are you expected to do? Order everything online and have Amazon groceries at your door every day? Like, I think not. And not a lot of people want to move. Not a lot of people want to put in the effort to actually, you know, put in that work to have a healthier diet. And because of that, they just pass down what they know and what they were taught in the kitchen. And because of that, you can have the knowledge but do nothing about it. And that's how obesity happens. And then it just keeps on going in a spin cycle over and over and over again. And the only way to break out of it is to embrace the positives of your culture, while also rejecting the negative eating habits that come with it. So, if you look at things from a centrist perspective, just looking at nutritional facts, how much water did I drink today? How much grease is in this? How many calories is in that? How much fat? How many carbs? Everything like that, that can result in just being wiser. I know chicken and waffles is amazing, tastes great, but tons of syrup and tons of butter. But if you know that you haven't had an apple in months, then I think it's time to reflect on, yeah, it tastes good, but what are my insides looking like? So I just feel like this is a very important topic. It's still a toss up as, does culture influence obesity? Is it the, be all end all, or does it not influence it at all? Me personally, I think that your culture is a very, very big factor when it comes to the way you eat, how you eat, and what you deem as okay. Because, that's all we know, that's where we came from. And, it's just a matter of you're just going with the flow, putting in your mouth whatever you are familiar with. So, because of that, I would say that it's an important part, it is integral. However, I wouldn't say that it's a catalyst for obesity. People who, have a strong tradition in their family still choose to eat out, get delivery, and eat fast food every time that they have a chance, because that those are other factors. Those maybe they don't know how to cook in the kitchen. Maybe they don't see the difference, and those tend to be the same people that drink beer as a means of getting their water intake. That's just a lack of knowledge, and also the lack of wanting to even know more. You have to understand that no matter how many things you hear in TV and how much education is received on the topic, if they don't want to learn about it, if they don't want to, better themselves just health wise, there's really not much you can do. I don't know why people are made fun of for eating healthier or choosing to be vegetarian or being pescatarian, things like that, because they're trying to better themselves. Obviously, it might be trendy and just because other people are doing it. But even then, how is that, how does that give you enough fuel to, roast them about eating kale instead of a burger? You know what I mean? And obviously, big companies within the food industry are, geared more towards vegetarians and vegans, because I'm seeing more and more fast food restaurants come out with burgers that are made completely out of plants. And I'm not sure if that's a money thing because they know that it's trending right now, or if they're just aware that their target audience is becoming healthier, more open-minded, and breaking away from the culture that influenced them to be unhealthy in the beginning. So yeah, I just feel like it is important to talk about. I definitely want to do research on this myself. I was considering pursuing a bachelor's degree in food science at University of Wisconsin in Madison, and because it's something that when you look at how the government uses a lot of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, in crops to create a higher yield, pesticide control in order to make things last longer, things like that. When you look into it, it's just very interesting about even the things that we think are healthy have so many artificial things inside of it, within its DNA, that eventually It'll taste like an apple, it'll look like an apple, it'll have the same crunch as an apple, but it was made in the lab. You know what I mean? And I think that's sad. I think that, referring to my last point of embracing the positives of your culture's, eating habits while also rejecting the negatives, you can always take something at a micro dose. If you eat too much of anything, it's bad for you, of course. And if you just look into the science, that proves my point even more. So I know this was a quick post, but I wanted to get this out there. I think that this is a great topic to do research for yourself. There's a book called Food Politics. I forgot who wrote it, but if you type in food politics on Google, it'll probably pop up. The image on the book cover is a tomato with a barcode on it. So yeah, definitely read that book if you're interested in about, how things are and how food politics actually comes from an individual's culture, about what they will vote for and what they'll vote against, things like that. So yeah, I hope this was an interesting topic, just like how I think it is. And stay tuned for other videos, other uploads. Probably on Friday, I'm going to either post an upload or go live. I have to do a seminar at my culinary school's program at around 1 o'clock-ish. So stay tuned for that. Comment down below, like this video. Yeah, do your thing. I hope you guys have a great week. Monday through Friday, the early bird catches the worm, the second mouse gets the cheese. I hope you guys have a great day. See you in the next video.